Welcome to ZKast, everyone. I'm ZS Caraval from ZK Research, and I'm back here at the Worldwide Technology stand inside the Expo Hall at AWS 2023 in sunny Las Vegas. It's always great to be here, isn't it? I'm here with Josh Hilliker from Intel. You want to just do a quick bio on yourself? What do you do?
You bet. My name is Josh Hilliker. I'm a principal engineer and a cloud solution architect in our data center and AI sales technical team.
It's a big job. And Sean Hicks with Worldwide Technology.
Sean Hicks, Worldwide Technology, celebrating 6 years with the company next week.
6 years, congratulations.
And I lead our cloud architects for technical pre-sales.
Okay, well, we're day one here of reInvent, and so we had the keynotes this morning. Adam talked. We had a whole bunch of announcements. Too many to keep track of. I think triple digits. What caught your eye? What'd you like?
Interesting is the focus to serverless, right? Of how technology and how they want to make AI be of assistance to where things land. And I think from an Intel standpoint, it could be scary at first, but at second glance, it's like, well, placing the workload on the right hardware is what this is all about.
Yeah.
And as Intel bringing that hardware to bear, what a great time for us, right?
Well, in theory, more workloads, more places, more Intel, right?
In theory, yes.
Yeah. And what about you? Anything you got your eye?
I think it's telltale. The first few announcements this morning were essentially performance improvements, all in support of analytics and AI.
Yeah.
So if you look at what they're doing with storage, if you look at what they're doing with compute, and with the various partnerships like with Intel, they're clearly trying to push the envelope and give development teams the ability to do more. So,
well, that's that beauty of this. It's like the AI science project era is over.
Yes.
And it was really clear this morning. It was clear and seen in the booth today is that AI is now, it's mainstream. Everybody's doing it at different levels and different modeling. And that to me is the exciting part of, it's not about putting all your dollars, okay, we'll do one project in AI. No, you could have 100 projects on AI going at the same time.
Yeah, now, along with that, though, when you think of AWS, people think, what, cloud, right? But the definition of cloud has changed, and one of the real emerging areas of cloud has been edge, right? So talk about how the edge is kind of come out of nowhere almost and really augmented what people think of as cloud.
Yeah, so when you looked at the early variation of edge compute, it was around, do you have this single IoT device looking at sensors? Right, yeah. And it had very little, a little bit of intelligence, but not at the level we're seeing today with edge, where it's like
intelligence is all centralized, though, right?
Yes, I mean everything's going back up to the master, to the cloud, to home base to do its analysis, and that reality is over, right? It's like now this is great, where I can do edge computing, do AI at the edge, and make the experience, whether it's retail or hospitals, very different.
Yeah, now I know, Sean, you guys work with thousands of customers. What are some of the edge use cases you're seeing?
Oh gosh, it's different in every vertical. The technologies.
But there's more verticals now. That's important.
There are so many more verticals. Yeah, because as you pointed out, it used to be like a rich man's game. It was the small part of the business where we could justify the expense of diving into concepts like preventative maintenance or that sort of thing. And now it's available to everyone, really. I mean, you can just take advantage of the APIs that are out there. So the edge use case is interesting in a lot of different ways, but really on a vertical by vertical basis. Maybe you're in oil and gas and you're looking at all the data coming out of a wellhead.
Yeah.
Right? Well, that's important because it's going to help us predict where to dig next time so that we can actually create wells that are profitable instead of punching 100 holes in the ground and only having one of them show up with anything useful.
And that's a combination of AI and edge, right?
Yeah, but you also look at, for instance, pharmaceutical, right? We're manufacturing new vaccines and we're doing it in record time. I was actually listening to a futurist talk about how the COVID pandemic, and jinx us here, but how it might have been the last pandemic ever because of how fast we can build new vaccines and get them out to market. So these are just two examples really of how we're using infrastructure at the edge and cloud, which is really an operating model, right? So the edge is just a location at this point.
Yeah.
But to take advantage of it in a way that allows us to do more in the places where really the data is being generated. So that's really where we need to analyze it. We need to do everything to get where we need to go, and then only worry about maybe the very most important stuff getting shipped off to primary data centers or cloud providers.
It's really about using the data in the right place. And actually, you can use the same data in multiple locations. I was talking with this one of the cities along the Texas border, and they video everything along the border, and they do that in real time. And then after a couple of days, they take that back and they put it up in Amazon, right? So, same data used for multiple purposes in different locations. And so now the edge, Sean, isn't, like all things in IT, it's not cookie cutter. What are some of the challenges your customers have, though, when they're thinking about their edge deployments?
Oh gosh, again, it depends on your vertical.
Yeah.
So, a really great example is hardened systems.
Yeah.
You might not have a good power feed. You might not even have good network connectivity. You might not have the ability to control climate in the space. Space becomes a problem in some locations. If you think about being on a ship or an ocean-going vessel, for instance, there's just not a lot of places to cram things.
Yeah.
When you talk about retail, right? When retail margins are very small, we can't really afford to put significant infrastructure in a retail location. So how do we approach that? Well, we do things like containerization of the applications that are necessary in that location for things like point of sale and looking at security camera footage, and then we do that on a Kubernetes cluster that's literally just a few Intel NUCs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so just talk about some of the requirements that customers need to think about at the edge. Obviously, connectivity is one of them, right?
Yeah.
What else do they need to think about?
Is it have enough compute to do the local processing that's needed? So not just collect, but actually do the AI. It's like the edge AI compute is this new thing, right? Where it's like
in a lot of ways, isn't it just like a microcosm of the cloud? You still need, right?
I still need, I mean, you can do all that local stuff, but it's like I still have to pipe back for things. I still have to go send it up for, again, higher level analysis, right? If I'm going to cube it a different way, I'm going to go run some visual through it, right? I want to go look at facial recognition to see what happened, or product placement, right? You got to push all that. So the requirements are right level of compute. Can I do AI? Can I fit that in the right form factor? Because form factors matter so much. Like in the manufacturer space, that's been the big request is I need something that's that NUC size.
Yes.
I need something that's completely portable, small. I can lock it down and will do all the compute that's needed. And so that's some of those requirements of, okay, build the right silicon, make it fast enough. Now there's one other gotcha here. And you said already, Sean, which is power. How do we not over-index on the power side of it, whether it's thermal or reliable power or the amount of usage at the edge? So it's like, okay, how do we decrease that power envelope while increasing the performance envelope and that AI ability at the edge?
Yeah, now I know today's processor is a lot different than the one of even a few years ago, right?
Yeah.
And I know Intel's done a lot of work in helping customers. When you think about any kind of compute infrastructure, there's always this trade-off of I need to spend more to get more performance, I need to spend more to scale, but Intel's done a lot of work in helping optimize cost, performance, and scale.
Yeah.
And so can you talk about what you've been doing there?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the cost of today's processor versus the past, it's like we've continued to look at how do we pack more on that, how do we decrease the size of it, right? And then how do we make it so that, again, back to power performance, increase performance and power. The other element, though, that's interesting is that we're getting questions now on sustainability.
Yeah.
What have you done for the green? What have you done for the greater good? What does this mean, and how will it run? So not just does it run with less power, but is it made in a way that I can really say that, it's the right product that's out there?
Yeah, it's interesting you bring that up, because if you had asked me 2 years ago about sustainability, I would have said nobody here cares, right? Europe, sure, but a lot of lip service here.
Yeah.
If you would ask me even last year, I'd say they're starting to care. This year, though, in every CIO discussion I've had, sustainability is one of the top 2 or 3 care abouts. In fact, one company told me it now accounts for 20% of their RFP decision-making process. So
really,
it's really come a long way. So
it's a major concern. And if you look at that at cloud in general, right? I mean, we're an AWS reInvent, so let's talk about it. We're dropping massive data centers into places like the American Southwest the Colorado River is under siege, and there's now multi-state agreements to control that water. Well, that water gets used to cool all the devices.
Yeah.
So we have to worry about things like thermal envelopes. So, Intel innovations allow us to do things, more efficiently and do more with less, I guess, right? Is what they always say.
Yeah.
But in all honesty, that's where we're trying to go here is, and it's also part of that story you mentioned earlier, like how what we're really seeing is not the birth of AI. What we're really seeing is sort of the commoditization, or maybe the democratization of AI, right?
Yeah.
And so I think.
Well, you look at Amazon Q, that lets anybody use AI, right?
Yeah. And so really, it's a continuance of a story that's been going on for a long time. So when were we able to have computers in our homes? When were we able to wear them on our wrists? And now, when are we able to do AI everywhere all the time, with minimal environmental impact, with the right processing, the right tools? Now's the time.
Hey, Sean, so tell me about the partnership with Intel. When people know Intel, obviously, it's a processor company, but you guys have a very deep partnership. And so explain how that works and helps you help your customers.
Listen, these guys are at the core of everything, right? It doesn't matter what it is.
No pun intended.
Yeah, at the acorns of everything.
I mean, if it's a desktop, if it's a laptop, if it's a server, if it's a storage array, if it's a switch, if it's a router, Intel is everywhere. And as we drive more and more of our application use cases and our data to modern infrastructure, Intel's right there with us, and they do a great job. It's a wonderful partnership of keeping us aware of their roadmap, where they're going, when to expect different things on the market, and so that allows us to set the tone with our customers and get them prepared for what's going to happen in even the near future, obviously, but even looking a little further ahead, which is difficult to do in the world of technology. But absolutely, we love Intel as a partner.
So can you give us a sneak peek? What are some of the innovations that have been happening in processors? Because I think there's a perception that PCs and servers are kind of a commodity, but I've noticed tremendous innovation in both those areas over the last few years. So.
Wow, that's a big question.
Yeah. High level.
High level, it's like we're going back to AI. Okay, because it's like AI is not brand new. We've been working on AI for a while.
Yeah.
But AI for me has been one of those innovations, like AI for self, on my laptop running for me to make me more productive. That's part of that innovation, right? And then building with the ecosystem to say, what are the right software titles? What are the right products to make this and come to life? Other thing I just make a call out is that what I have enjoyed about working with WWT is their ATC. Their advanced technology stuff, and how that kind of brings to life. Because I can talk about it, I can go hand code and show people, but when we bring them into ATC and we show them, hey, look, this is a technology running, this is that future, it gets people excited that I can actually do this now.
So talk about the ATC. It's the Worldwide Technology Advanced Technology Center. Not everybody may be familiar with it. So explain what that is.
Yeah, the ATC is a real differentiator for us. It started off as literally a closet full of gear for our engineers to be able to learn on and try out some interesting things. And it's grown now to basically incorporate our entire original headquarter campus there in St. Louis. There's 4 buildings. We're breaking ground on a 5th. It also extends into our co-location partners, and from there extends into our cloud service provider partners, such as AWS. And it's an ecosystem of, if you think about like labs, because that's a lot of people like to oversimplify the ATC as a lab, and it is that. When you think about labs, customers have terrible labs. They're underfunded. Nobody manages them on a full-time basis.
No one can afford them either.
Yeah.
Vendors have great labs, but they're white coat labs. Everything's designed to work together. That's not a good representation of a customer environment where you have decisions that have been made over years, and sometimes you have technical debt you have to deal with, and how do these systems actually interact with each other, and can we simulate WAN latency between here and there so that we know what this would look like at scale? Those are all things that we can do. And so it's really grown out of a need to not only provide our customers with something that looks more like a real production environment, but also customers now coming to us and saying, okay, you guys do labs better than we do, so why don't you just be our lab? And so, a big driver of the growth of the ATC, to where it now takes up multiple buildings, has been labs as a service.
Yeah.
Right? And of course, we also run talks out of there for customers who want to try out different technologies and see which one's going to work best for their needs. As as an architect at Worldwide, and someone who manages a team of architects, one of the things that we really love to do for our customers is be unbiased and come to them with real requirements for the business outcome they're looking to achieve, and figure out what the best solution really is going to be for them. Sometimes it's surprising. Sometimes it might not even be a market leader, and so we do all of that for our customers in the ATC. At the end of the day, what the ATC is really about is helping customers make better decisions faster.
Yeah, now you did mention the lab as a service, and just talk a little bit about that more so people fully understand what that is, because not everybody can get to St. Louis. Lovely place to go to, but especially in the summer, actually it is quite nice. But if you can't get there, they can still use the ATC through lab as a service. How would they access that?
Yeah, so customers would contract with us to engage in that way, and we literally build out a lab space for them in the ATC. They would have remote access to it. We have customers for whom we are actually an endpoint on their global WAN topology, just so they can drop right into their lab environment. And of course, we meet them where they want. So if the customer wants to have a little help with managing that environment, we're there for them to help with that. They want us to run test cases. We can do that for them as well. And so that's...
so you can be their eyes and ears.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And if they want to access lab as a service, where do they do that?
Get in touch with your Worldwide Technology account team.
All right. Yeah. So,
well, let's go back. I got one more thing I want to add, if I can. And you asked earlier, what have we been innovating? Let me give you a little bit more. And we'll be seeing this, of course, in the ATC. We'll be seeing this out there. Is
now I got to go to ATC and check this out.
Our accelerators, and this is where it's like, we've got a couple out there. I know, like QAT, Quick Assist Technology, right? Where it's been in the market, but it's getting even better. And we got things like AMX, okay? And where is that? Which is Advanced Matrix Extensions, okay? And where those two play is, of course, what am I doing for compression, data in and out? And then for AMX, it's really back to the AI use case, right on, okay, how am I sending instructions faster for like things like stable diffusion, where I can create an image on the fly, right? Or even for ChatGPT, where I'm getting anywhere from 30 to 50% faster response time on request. So things like that, where we've truly innovated the accelerator, built them in, and it's part of the offering.
Yeah, Intel does a great job of watching the market and seeing where there's need to add additional functionality to the silicon. It's not just about cores, right? The CPU actually, is super important, but there's a lot of pipelines that Intel's introduced over the years, and you can follow that progression as you look at the different generations of chips. This last generation, Xeon 3, you guys added a pipeline specifically for inferencing that improves performance, 150% or something. So
massive, yeah.
So the idea is to be able to offload those special functions to these accelerators that he's talking about, while freeing up the CPU to do the hard work that's required for running the application or the underlying operating system.
And one thing, another add, if I can, is that we're seeing with, as we look at AI, there's training and there's inference. And
those both have different compute requirements.
Those have very different compute requirements, we thought. Yeah. And what we're realizing is that inference, we've always been jamming on that. Done very well. We're actually doing even better. On the training side, realizing that, wow, there's actually a threshold of CPU to GPU where the Xeon, our Intel Xeon scalable processors, will actually do training very well up to a certain data point, up to a certain amount. And when the industry doesn't know that. And so I've been going out going, hey, you can move those training to CPU and get better performance because of the data size.
That makes sense, yeah.
And so it's kind of like this, wow, okay. So again, we're trying to get the word out there of be aware that you need to be more thoughtful and mindful when you're doing a selection of where things go.
All right. Well, it seems like a good place to wrap up. I was talking to the CIO the other day, and I asked him to define digital transformation, and he said, I can do it in one word, and that's speed, right? And so faster processes let you do these things faster. In fact, I saw a graphic put up once that showed the AI cycle, where it was start your training, go for coffee, right?
Yeah.
You start this task, go for coffee. But now with the new processors, of course, you take those times down from hours, even days sometimes, right, to a few minutes. So
yeah.
So Intel can let you do it faster. Worldwide Technology can help you get it integrated. All right. So thanks for your time, gentlemen.
Oh, no problem. Thank you.
You.
So. Anyways, on behalf of Josh and Sean, I'm ZKast from ZK Research saying thanks for watching. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you next time on another ZK.